Use these 10 rainbow cake hacks to make your cakes easier, quicker, and better. Let's start with how to mix rainbow colours in just one bowl. Start with yellow, and then continue in this order, which obviously is not the order of the colours in the rainbow. The reason for this order is that the leftovers of each colour in the bowl can blend together with the next colour without muddying or dulling that colour. For example, leftover orange mixes into red, and then leftover red mixes into purple. So even without washing the bowl in between, you'll end up with gorgeous, bright rainbow colours. To mix small amounts of rainbow colours, which I'll show you how to use later, use a cupcake pan. It's more convenient than using lots of little bowls because it's quicker to wash up afterwards. Also, if you tint the colours in advance, you can just cover the whole cupcake pan with cling film or saran wrap to keep the buttercream soft until you use it, so that it doesn't dry out and crust. To pipe rainbows onto your cake, line up your coloured frosting on a piece of cling film or saran wrap and roll it tightly into a log. Cut off one end and drop that end down into a piping bag. Use a star tip to pipe arcs onto your cake, and all of the colours of the rainbow will come through. Add clouds by piping white buttercream at each end. If you're using a small round piping tip, like this number 4, squeeze each dot for a few seconds to let it bulge out to make these fluffy clouds. For quicker rainbows, squeeze blobs of rainbow colours along the straight edge of a cake comb. Rest it against a frosted cake and curve it around to spread the frosting onto the cake into a rainbow. You might need to scrape a few times to get the frosting really smooth. You can carve shapes or letters into the rainbow using a petal piping tip. To create a stenciled rainbow, you only need tiny amounts of rainbow frosting. Attach your stencil to a chilled cake, taping it tightly or pinning it into the cake, and spread your rainbow frosting over the stencil, one colour after another, and when you scrape over this with a cake comb or spatula, you'll take off the excess and blend the colours together naturally. Peel the stencil off to leave a stunning rainbow design on your cake. Another quick way to add rainbow colours to a cake is with this layered technique. Pipe or spread your first colour onto your cake after chilling it, so that the frosting is very firm and won't blend with this colour. Scrape around the cake with a cake comb to flatten and smooth this colour, and then pipe or spread your next colour on, above or below the first colour. If your cake isn't very cold, you'll need to chill it in the freezer for maybe 2 minutes in between each colour. These layers of rainbow colours are so easy, but the result is beautiful. To make a cake in the shape of a rainbow is super easy. Cut round cakes in half and layer them with filling, and then flip the cake onto its side, and you have a semicircle or a rainbow shape. Frost the cake to seal in the moisture before covering it with rainbow piping or however else you want to decorate it. To pipe with rainbow colours, using just one piping tip for all of your colours, use this hack. Choose your piping tip and drop it into a piping bag. Then take your first bag of coloured buttercream and drop it into that piping bag. And you'll squeeze this colour out through the piping tip of the other bag. When you finish, pull this piping bag of coloured frosting out and drop the next colour in. And squeeze out the last of the previous colour into a bowl until you see the new colour come out. Pipe with this colour and repeat for the rest of your colours, always squeezing the bag into a bowl in between colours. This way you don't need a piping tip for each piping bag of coloured frosting, or a coupler. For rainbow-coloured cake layers inside the cake, you could tint each layer a different colour, or try this. Divide your batter and tint each bowl and then spoon each colour into a piping bag. Squeeze the bags into cake pans, making random colourful designs. Tap the pans to level the cake layers. Bake as normal. And when you cut into the cake, everyone will be surprised by the fun colours. To cover a cake with rainbow sprinkles, choose tiny nonpareils or hundreds and thousands. Smooth the frosting on your cake, but it doesn't have to be perfect for this design. Scoop up handfuls of sprinkles and press them against the cake while the frosting is still soft and sticky, and they'll attach easily. It's best to put your cake on a tray or baking sheet for this, so that it catches all of the sprinkles that bounce off. This is a popular choice for a cake over or a cake makeover, where you buy your favorite flavor of cake and redecorate it to personalize it or just to save yourself the time of baking. These tiny sprinkles create an instant rainbow effect without needing to master any cake decorating techniques. And since they're so tiny, they really don't add much texture to the cake when you bite into it. Which rainbow cake hack will you use? Tell me in the comments, and visit my cake school to learn hundreds of cake decorating techniques and designs with my online courses and memberships. See you there!